man, Kent Lynn. Good to see you again, man. Finally we get this going after about 4 attempts. It's been a while, but
Yeah.
it's good to see you, man. So let's get this going. It's been a long time, been overdue. Um, let's get this going. Let's tell these people a lot about what you're doing down in Barbados and all the good work that you're doing, man. Very pleased to see what you're doing.
Well, as you know, I work at Barbados today. I mainly cover horse racing and motorsport. That's my two sports.
Well, as people don't know, Kent Lane, as he said, he's a writer for the Barbados Today newspaper, and he's also what would you call yourself on online? Active
Uh,
Facebook group. What was the right
yeah,
term you call that? Advocate? I don't know.
uh,
What's the right
well,
word?
well, I'm just a an enthusiast in horse racing and motorsport. I got my two pages, the Garrison Savannah for horse racing and Footy Savers Motorsport for motorsports. The Garrison Savannah I think it has over 5,000 members, and my motorsport page have about 30,000 members.
So Garrison Savannah, take that in mind, have over 5,000 people in this group. And let me tell you, Kent, your group is always active. Kent is always bringing the latest news about horse racing when it comes to jockeys, horses, races, anything involved in horse racing. Kent Lane is there on top of it, like a fly on top of a rice grain or something. He's always active, man. How long you been well, first of all, are you a writer for horse racing for Barbados Today, or do
Yeah,
you write specifically for sport, or
no, only horse racing and motorsport. Um, I glad you asked me that because someone asked me, can't how come you don't write weather sports, but the late when it goes there, you need to write about cricket. You was a cricket journalist. You ask anything about you used to got the Garrison, but you ask anything about horse racing, you don't know. So yeah, everybody thinks that a sport journalist is supposed to write about all sports. Not necessarily.
Yeah, I agree. You got something that you indulge in, and you kind of made yourself an expert on it. So why not just do that? I mean, football writers and reporters report predominantly on that sport. So why should you be any different? But you can expand if you're well versed. You can do many things like you're involved in horse racing and motor car racing, right?
Yeah, those are my two. You guys ask me anything about those two sports. If you ask me who won the Derby in 1987, you know that in top of my head, don't want with Darwin Clark. Don't ask me about cricket because they don't. I could go, I could go back and research cricket, but I wouldn't know the things on top of my head because they don't follow it. Like you follow horse racing on motorsport.
But I gotta ask you, man. First of all, how did you? Yeah, this is a question that people always ask me. As a matter of fact, how did you first get involved with horse racing? Tell me a little bit about that, man.
But I grew up in sport. My dad had horses. First horse my dad owned. He bought it from Dr. Howard White, who was the dad of Dr. Jonathan White, the veterinarian, one of the top vets in Barbados. And from the time I was born, my dad carried me the paddock and just with horses all the time. That's something fall in love with, You can't get out of your system. Yeah, so it was, and then now my cousin Raphael, he has horses as well. So come from a horse racing family. My dad told me my, my great aunt took him, my grandmother. So then my great grandfather used to go to. So something that runs in the family.
I know that horse racing, you got a memory out of this world, and this all attributes to what you do actually as a top draftman, a top draft player in Barbados, and rated as a top draft player around the world too. So I mean, your memory is has to be pretty good in order to get involved in that sport. That's a sport. Is it a sport, or is it? How do you
Yeah.
categorize draft?
Well, is a brand game. I mean, cause draft. It was on Olympics. It was called the Money Olympiad. Chess, chess plays in it as well. So it's a mind game. It goes on the mind sports.
And you just recently got involved in a competition. And how did you fare in that competition?
Well, not fair too bad. Done better, but the rules were a lot different than we normally play. I only had 2 minutes to play, so I had to play quickly. It was a way called Blitz draw. They have Blitz chess as well. But when you see the world champion coming 17th, you ought to know that we're not used to it. But I only played because the guy runs the Pakistan draft club. He invited me. But it's good to play all different styles. But in my normal tournament, you know, I was in the top five or so.
All right. So before we jump all over a draft, I wanna let's get the viewers to understand about the horse racing because it's a predominantly horse racing group, and people are tuning in for horse racing, as you know, because you're always posting about horse racing, and you got like so many people, and right now you got over 5,000 people in that group. So I would say you have thousands of horsemen and horsewomen involved in your group. And I mean, what is it, you know, about these guys that I mean, you're always exposing talent from Barbados. You're always letting people know how talented the riders are and the horsemen are in Barbados. Maybe you can shed some light on that and, you know, say a little bit more.
In Barbados, our two main sports that we produce the most champions is cricket, as you know, and horse racing. The first two recognized people from sports was Cigar Free Sobers, who was knighted, and Sir Michael Stoke. I mean, you could count numerous cricketers that were great and numerous jockeys. You know, we had Sir Michael Stoke, Patrick Husbands, and we now produce over 10 champion jockeys in North America, and Barbados only has about 300,000 people. So what Patrick did is, you know, is phenomenal from a country that only has races once a week.
Well, I mean, no one can question that. I mean, Patrick Husband's legacy goes way back now. I mean, him being at his age right now and have the legacy that he has, uh, no one can question it at all. You know, and he's still doing his thing, still doing pretty good up at Woodbine. I know there was lately you had posted some information about his family and his family being probably the only family that had so many jockeys or produced so many jockeys ever.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about that.
yeah. Patrick's family is a big family that you know about that has jockeys. The closest one I know about is the Blaze family, the Russell Blaze. I think it's Russell Blaze, Michael Blaze, and Vicky Blaze. I think Russell is his uncle. There were only three. There's only three internationally. You don't really find the family with 10 jockeys.
Not
I follow race all over the world. I never heard about it before.
well. I mean, and doing pretty good, right? I mean, usually you don't hear about the ones that are not doing too well. Usually you'll hear about the ones who are doing pretty good. So I guess that husband's family is on something pretty good.
Yeah, you know the grand started from Patrick's dad, then Patrick's brother Anthony, and then down to the grandchildren. Look at Micah. Um, he's he's a champion in the making.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, you know, I got to speak with him just briefly the other day, and he's definitely turning himself into a pro. You know, yeah, he has the form. He's shaping to be a really good horseman as well.
yeah, and then the next um the next story wrote on was about the brothers and horse racing. Now these things just pop up in my mind. Um, I think in the Caribbean, I think Trinidad might be slightly ahead of us for how many brothers that were jockeys, but we had a lot of brothers that were jockeys and a lot of dads and sons that were jockeys. Yes, Patrick's family is the biggest in terms of his father having a lot of grandchildren, but we had a lot of brothers also, and they did very well, and a lot of dads that produced sons that were jockeys as well.
Well, you know, speaking of that, I know the last time we tried to make this happen, we talked a bit about many things, and it was beautiful, but unfortunately we couldn't get it to work. But I want to ask you some questions so that you can, just we can have a conversation around these kind of topics. I was just wondering, horse racing in Barbados, what would you like to see happen with the industry in Barbados and with the talent that comes out of it when it pertains to the horsemen? Is there anything that strikes you the most that you would like to see when
Well,
it comes to the industry?
one of the things I would like to see is I would like to see a different track, a new international track. That's something I was willing to see. So I'm telling me 6 years old, but now I'm a big man. It doesn't have it. But when I see Barbados, one of the best cricket grounds in the world, Kensington, one of the best car racing tracks. Barbados has a grade three, which part is a grade three international track. That we all talk here in Global Rallycross. Then Barbados has one of the best golf courses in the world. It's the best golf. The Green Monkey Golf Course is the best golf course in the Caribbean, the fourth best in the world. And then the Garrison up with some champions, and it's not a national track. I would really love to see the day that we see a national track. That's the thing that out of everything that tops the bill, it's really in Barbados.
You know, I'm always curious, especially since you mentioned it's not a international track, and I'm just wondering what does an international track consist of? I myself would like to see a little bit of changes to the Garrison. I know what you mean, but maybe you can expand a little bit on what you're talking about.
First of all, an national track, it goes off. Anybody can walk off the road and walk in the Garrison. First of all, it's open to the public, and the national track is not open to the public. If you got Woodbine, you have gates and doors, that's one. And then two, the capacity. A lot of the national tracks, you can't be around the track. You could go inside in the middle, but you have to have a capacity like a certain grandstand, certain amount of people. And then most tracks in the world carry about 16 horses. We used to run 16 horses years ago, but we come down to 12. And it was a lot of jockeys were saying it was too crowded and stuff. But in national tracks, and then another thing too, in national track mostly we run already on turf. We only limited to turf. We got horses on the sand, but the sand track is too small. So all those things combine for international track.
So it's a bit constrained because Barbados is only so big, right? So I mean, we're looking at size of where I guess the Garrison is, so that wouldn't change much. So I mean, it would have to move and definitely relocated. And we talked a little bit about that the last time. You were telling me something about St. Philip.
Yeah, a lot of people saying that if races move to St. Philip, gonna die. I think that only come around because when the races were centralized in Trinidad, we don't have the capacity, the amount of people that used to have the attendance used to have in at Queen's Park. But I would not really join that to here because Barbados is much smaller. And if you look at the tracks in Trinidad, where the races run now, that was the less favorite track. Queen's Park and Union Park were the more favorite tracks in Trinidad. I don't think if the people come from St. Philip to St. Monica to watch races, people come from St. Lucie. I don't think that if races move to St. Philip would kill races. That's something that everyone is saying. But if you could get some rare outs in St. Monica, that'd be good.
Well, one of the things that I've always noticed over the years was that people are always either afraid of change or some people just don't want it to happen because of their own interests. So I mean, what are the interests surrounding the Garrison and Barbados?
Well, one of the things with that, a lot of people that around the Garrison, the villages, like same like Trinidad, a lot of villages around Queen's Park, where Cutter was in town. Most of the race goers come from the villages around the Garrison, Arts Gap and Garden Village and BLN, so they can just walk to the Garrison. So I think that if the track move, a lot of people gonna miss that. But who says every track to St. Philip, the people from the villages not gonna go to the races? It's gonna be the same thing. But and another thing I really see the Garrison that we get a national track. We have a problem here when the rainfall, a lot of races get canceled. We don't have the nets track to run on. If we had an already track that we could switch over, and it gets kind of get kind of get into people like two races around and the races call off because track too bad. Other places like in Trinidad you could switch over. So that's one of the reasons why we like to see a national track. It's getting kind of monotonous. That happening all the time.
Well, I agree with you. I myself used to wonder for many years, how is it that there aren't too many accidents occurring at the garrison? With me myself used to sneak under the rails and run across the track, and when races are going on, I'll tell you this personally, and some people may get offended or whatever, but it's not a very attractive to see a big race and see spectators in the middle of the track pretending that they're riding a horse. I mean, from,
believe it or not,
you know,
believe it or not, it was even worse back in the 80s because
I know.
when I watch this on tapes and I see the guys running paddock bend and the guys tell him, you have the inside rail and the guys standing up between the two rails. That was very dangerous. Yeah. A lot of people say, oh, the garrison's close, the tourists like it because it's close. But I don't think if the garrison move that, the tourists are not going to come because of that reason. There's a lot of disadvantages, And when Patricia all the time would like to see a different track, some people get offended because they say, oh, you forget where you come from. But I think they getting mixed up what he's saying. He's saying if we get the national track, more owners will come here, more jockeys. Because it's no secret, a lot of the national jockeys are scared of that track.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a jockey, but a jockey would have to say that to us, right? But I can see that. I mean, it's not as big as what they're used to, and the last thing that a seasoned jockey wants to do is get himself injured for a purse that's not perhaps not as big as what he's usually expected, or what he writes for, right? That's a touchy topic. I don't really want to get into that because, I know it's controversial, but still, I understand. I get that, in horse racing, I know that there's one of the trainers told me there's a lot more to horse racing than just the money. Sometimes the prestige about winning certain titles and so forth. It's a lot more involved in the business. So, but I agree with you. I definitely would like to see a bigger track. I would like to see a relocation because that's more attractive. I know people probably will say the same thing that you just said, that about the location and so forth. But I'm looking at a bigger picture.
Yeah. I hope in the near future. And the thing is, you just got to source the land first. You don't have to build it. You try to have it built in 2 years. But we'll see what happens. Sometimes they get some surprises. You never know.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not going to harp on this too much more longer, but definitely I'll tell you this. For me, I'll say this much. Not because it was built back in the time, it doesn't mean that we have to keep it. I mean, things did change, and now Barbados itself has become, where we're headed. We have a president, and we pull away from the Queen, and all that, right? So why not? Why not make some changes of your own, right? So, anyways, that's my piece on that, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk jockeys.
Yeah. In Barbados?
Yeah, let's talk jockeys. Barbados. This is the reason why you're on here, okay? We're going to talk about Barbados jockeys. We're going to talk about the apprentices, the ones that are abroad. We got Micah Husbands. We got Slade Jones. Is there any more apprentices that we got? Is there one down in Winnipeg?
Yeah, it's at St. Tremel. Deshaun Bueno, he's a never part president too. I think if he got a break, he would do pretty well. He's always listening. He's always willing to learn, and wants to get. I think he would put through as well. And then there's another guy, Naron Austin. If he got a break too, it's all up. it's all about opportunity and horse racing as well. These guys need to get a good barn to get good horses. If you don't get good horses, you can showcase the talent. So
That's right.
yeah, hopefully those guys get a break. Um, but the thing about it is, for instance, our Ray Williams, uh, the second, he was the first jockey to get winners of an award as apprentice. Patrick won it as a German. He never won a race in Barbados, and he was written off, but this is no secret. He was written off, but he Barbados public, and he got more races out there. He got a break, and he won Champion Apprentice. So my advice, I know a lot of young students get turned off because they're not getting a race. But if they get a break outside, they could do the same thing at Red Day.
Well, I mean, I definitely agree with you because, as far as I can see, it could be very hard for some of the jockeys. I mean, guys are criticized pretty harshly sometimes. So going somewhere where it's a little bit more comfortable, they can really excel and really become who they really are. So taking away that pressure sometimes could be good. I mean, there's no secret outside of Barbados. A lot of these horsemen, these people involved in the industry need a lot of help. So having good horse people around them and good jockeys with good talent is also very important.
I think one of the problems is other uh, when they go overseas, you have a lot of trainers, more barns. Here is limited. We don't got 100 trainers here, but when go there, you know, you get more horses to work. You know, uh, they could call it Chris Griffith. He never really got the break in Barbados. He was the first jockey to win the championship, first jockey from Barbados to win the championship in Canada, in North America, to be a gin jockey. So, those are examples that if you don't make it here, don't get discouraged. You can make it over there. It might not be somebody here, but you can be somebody over there.
I mean, to be honest, I mean, and to go back on your point, some of the guys ride in Barbados and they're very talented, but obviously they need some breaks. I mean, I talked to some of the jockeys here and who are from Barbados, and they're saying, a lot of the talent is leaving. But one thing I did say was there's a lot more. So leaving is one thing, but there's a lot more. So there's horses, they'll be jockeys, right?
But I'm glad that you made that point. A lot of real fans again discouraged that most of the riders here are apprentices. Well, I can give you a joke. I remember when I wrote at that time Prescott, no, last one was leaving, and everyone told me he's worth that child song. Everyone said, okay, all the full face jockeys are leaving. Who we left with? I said, young Prescott, he's riding good. The guy said, oh, can you really think that he's gonna make it? And the joke is when Prescott was leaving, I told him he was gonna be a good jockey. They turned to tell me, his was not ready yet. So you gotta give a guy a chance.
Well, it's the unknown factor. People are always, skeptical of the unknown. If they don't know you, I don't know he,
Yeah.
stuff like that, right? So
Yeah.
that's always the problem.
What made me laugh for the three examples I told you, when a guy leaves, you keep hearing that all the time. Oh, there's ain't any writers, but and it's gonna be it's like this all the time because guys getting more opportunities. Back in the 80s, Rick Griffith was the first jockey to leave here and open the door first. But there are more opportunities now, so a lot of guys gonna grasp the opportunity and leave. And horse race, I mean, they're always gonna be young jockeys. So I think that the jump out is a little bit too hard. You gotta give the youngsters a chance. But uh, you know, guys gonna leave all the time. They get more opportunities outside.
Oh yeah, definitely. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, for example, I always go back to this example because I don't know if you know, but for me, soccer, football, that's my thing. So, for example, Brazil is always producing football players every year. Every World Cup, you see some brand new stars, and they go abroad and they leave Brazil and they become famous and they become very well known. But they still produce more. So the same thing can be done in Barbados, very tiny island. but still produce lots of good horsemen. I
Yeah.
Woodbine Racetrack, and it sounds like a mini Barbados there sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes the Belgian public could be a little critical. I'm not gonna call the jockey's name, but a jockey told me when he first left there, uh, everyone said, "Oh, you're not gonna make it." When he became champion in Canada, everyone said, "Oh, you should go to the States," right? And what made me laugh about that? Don't walk over is the champion in the States, and everyone is saying, "Oh, King Reed's gonna think he's gonna make out the biggest rats." You know, I think Belgium probably really quick when it comes to horse racing because a lot of cricketers, but we don't are not as good as cigar food stoppers, but they get rare. So why are we jockeys not giving that respect? If you understand what I mean.
Well, I mean, I can't answer that, but I can tell you, you know, culturally we're a little bit harsh on each other. So uh, maybe that needs to change. You know, maybe.
Yeah. What Walker and Safi did, that is great. No, about 20 years ago, no one we ever thought we would have a champion trainer in America. And the thing is that Safi started here. So Mika so never trained a horse in bars before. Um, I tell you a story. When Samika so went to Trinidad, everyone thought he was just going out there to commentate racing. But talking to the late Brennan Richards, he told me Samika so learned a lot from Coach Jordan, Eric Coach Jordan, who was a musician that been on there back in the early times.
Yes.
But Samika so never trained a horse in bars before. And a lot of people are more close to the sack because he trained one triple crown here, and then he went over there. He found it a little rough, and everyone was saying something that they just keep repeating. A wrong horse, keep repeating all the time. When someone leaves here, whether it be a jockey or a trainer, and it doesn't do good for the first couple of years, everyone says, "Oh, you should come back home." But Safi sticked it out, and he did great. It was said about that with Patrick too. Patrick said that all his interviews that owners and trainers keep calling them and say, "We don't come home. You only get 2 hours a day, 2 hours a month." And look at Patrick now. The great sportsman go through the fire first. And if you listen to all the top sportsmen, Michael Jordan, he was rejected in his the first year at college. He didn't make the basketball team. So all these things, uh, Patrick, you gotta stick it out.
So I mean, speaking of sticking it out, one of the we would call now, and probably in the future, I don't know if right now, but one of the great horsemen, one of the great jockeys, Jalon Samuels, is he's pretty much following that pattern where he's not getting as much mounts down in the States. But I wonder what the public feels about that. Should he stick it out too, or what
Uh,
should he?
uh, well, you should stick it out because everyone thinks that these things happen overnight. And I mean, if you follow the careers of some of the top jockeys in the states, uh, Jerry Bailey was running from the 80s, but no one knew of him. You were hearing about Enzo Cadero, Lafitte Pinckney, and he started a small track. Jerry Bailey started a track called Sunland Park in New Mexico, and I work his way up. The same thing with the jockeys here. Pat Trezor's husbands, Ricky Griffith. Now they started at Fort Lee first, and then they worked their way up. So look at Rocco. Rocco was running at Emma in Portland. He work his way up to Arlington. So it's not nothing that happen overnight. And as a sportsman myself, I know because I was junior champion first. I finished second in the World Juniors, and I worked my way right to becoming a master. But everyone thinks that as you play a sport, that boom is you can be champion. It don't work like that.
No, definitely not. No, definitely not. I mean, if you think about Barbados itself, but then you think about outside of Barbados, and you think how big the rest of the world is. I mean, there's so much other people to compete with. So it's not gonna come easy. Nothing is gonna be given to you. So the guys who are from tiny Barbados, who have made it, I think people should be proud of themselves. And people should never forget that.
Yeah, because
these guys are doing great things, man.
a guy from here, Benjamin Jockey from here, he told me when he first went to Canada. I think about the second month he got. These guys only meet the owners, these owners in the afternoon because a lot of owners don't go to the track on mornings.
That's right.
He shook the owner's hand, and the owner said, "I understand you come from Barbados. Where is that? In Jamaica?" back in the 80s, nobody know I mean, few people know where Barbados is, and no. I mean, through Rihanna, through our students in Canada. So I think Barbados did very great, but I think the Belgian part is a little bit too harsh. You know, the first thing you hear, oh, but you never want to breed this cat. I mean, that was a Garrett Gomez fan. Garrett Gomez was running from the 80s. He started in 1988, and he won the first breed cat in 2005. It's not easy being one of the races. Those people think. I think Patrick
Uh,
did great, even if he don't win a British Cup, he did great. But yeah, getting back the Belgian part a lot really hard
yes,
on our riders. Yeah,
yes. I mean, the young ones too, them face it themselves. But let me tell you, looking at these, I spoke with Slade a couple of days ago, and
it's St. John's.
yeah, oh
St.
yeah,
John's.
Slade
Oh,
Jones, and
yeah,
I think he's gonna be good. Not only that he's writing good, but he has the lingo. You know, he knows how to talk. He's
yeah.
very charming. You know, you can tell that he's been around some grown ups for a while, so he knows
Well,
how to handle himself. You know, so it's pretty cool.
well, the thing with Slade and Micah, they got guidance. I mean, I can see John in front of the TV calling with Slade. My son, you shouldn't be in front there. You know, you should have done this. You know, same with Micah. You know, he got back with the show certain things, and you know, and he has Leroy. So I remember, no, we said a couple from this last year. They said it would be good if we could have a champion apprentice at Woodburn because we had a champion apprentices at these tracks in out west, and I know it would happen, but I never know it would happen so soon. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean they're doing pretty good. I think Micah is done for the year now. So you know we won't get to see him ride. I mean, there's so much riding left, but unfortunately that's what it is. I mean, we got August, September, October. You know, those are the exciting times on the grass, especially. Ken, you
I got
we know what he did on the grass, right? That first ride that he had, man, that was spectacular, right?
I glad you mentioned that because a lot of people this week messaging it was on the chat room asking, "Can't wait, Mike not writing." You know, here in Barbados, we race on English rules, and people are not really familiar with that. You know, stopping to save a bug. You know, a lot of people kind of disappointed with that, but that's why him and Leroy, his agent, sit down and discuss, and he agreed with it. I think we should respect. You know, we'll see him next year. You know.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's if that's what it is, that's what it is, right? But
Yeah.
we just gotta wait a little bit longer for the young husbands to get back on top of that horse so we can
Uh,
see.
yeah,
Uh,
and I think that a lot of people like is that it's no secret Patrick coming in his career, so everyone's glad that that Michael did fill that void.
oh,
you know,
that's what it is. I didn't realize. Now you gotta make Patrick go over 10 more years now because you know Patrick's a great great champion.
well, I don't think that 10 more years that'd be cutting it. You know, I think Patrick's about 49 now. I don't think he's gonna wait that long, but things is transition. You know, when I was a youngster, Venice was the top jockey and he retired. And, with him, Patrick started together. But then you have Ricky Walker, and you know, generate generation that way too. I tell a lot of people, life goes on. You know, I was I was fortunate to see Venice Roy, great Venice Richards. You know, and a lot of jockeys came after him and did well. So this is a new generation coming up,
It,
and
it is. It is
yeah,
actually, yeah. And there's lots of jockeys out there, man. Go ahead to your point.
yeah. What made me smile is as a little boy coming up, I see Patrick and John riding. But now you see him making Slade riding. You know, that reminded me of Patrick and John coming up. You know,
Oh, right, yes.
yeah, yeah.
That's a
So
beautiful comparison. That's good.
yeah, so I just smiled at myself and said, our life is when Patrick. Ask anybody 25 years ago if Patrick have a nephew or right now would have been no one was seeing that far. Yeah. So uh, I think our in CFMs. As
I
far as
think
jockeys are concerned and trainers are concerned. And don't forget the grooms. Barbados has a lot of talented grooms, and because of the passion and the love for the sport, they're going to put and guys and the camaraderie. You guys rubbing on a horse and every time we can't, don't mind them. This horse can't last Saturday. You know, I think that's why Barbers has, the trainers are kind of always asking the grooms here. They put in the work. They love the animals. You know, some guys, just in it, not for the money, but our guys, we our grooms have passion for it.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of grooms, these guys are so talented. I mean, these guys know the horses really well. I just spoke with Alvin. He was the groom for the horse that won the play trial here at Woodbine, and we had a good conversation about his horse, Sir for Sure.
And, this guy's a Bajan?
Yes, yes.
Oh, I was on a bear. I was unaware that a Bajan groom day.
Oh, you wasn't aware of that?
No. Well, the thing is that some of those guys are there so long. Some the guys I don't know because they left here in the 80s and stuff. Like Ali Roy, agent now, Patrick's agent. I think he told me left here in the 80s. In the 80s, I was just 3 years old. So I've been knowing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it just means that you got to dig deeper and get more information like you usually do, right? I mean, there's a lot of guys there, and actually, there's a lot more people who are there before those guys. I mean, they're just not in the spotlight, right? But there's a lot of guys still there. A lot of guys who was involved in horse racing. Actually, you know what? There was some people that I knew, and they always mentioned, why is it that Bajans like horse racing so much? And I couldn't really answer. I guess seeing the Gold Cup and it was a big thing, right? You know, people just tune in, right? People just watched it.
That and why Bajans like racing so much? That was an interesting question. I think because then again we have produced so much talented writers and stuff, and before it was North America, a lot of Yusuf was a rivalry between Barbados and Trinidad, and Barbados jockeys used to go down there and dominate. So I don't think it was really any surprise that we could go internationally and dominate. So that's one of the reasons why they just like racing so much, because they know the talent we have in it. Just like Brazilian fans back Brazilian footballers.
That's right.
Because they know, that's their thing. Argentina known for Brazil known for football. I think Argentina has good footballers and good hockey players. Barbados, horse racing is our thing.
Well, I know back in the days it was cricket, but now I think horse racing might be taking over when it comes to the sports.
Well, I've already put on the cricket. Don't mind that. Everybody's into it as well, but those are our two main sports. You can't get away from it. There's no other two sports other than horse racing and cricket that produce so many champions. As I said before, Cigar Free Strawberries and some other stuff were the first two sports units united in Barbados. I mean, of course, we can't get that now because we're Republic. But yeah, they were the first two. They're the two icons. When you talk about those two sports, they paved the way.
I mean, he just had a birthday too, and his legacy will still carry on. No doubt about that. I want to ask you this. Outside of the Garrison Savannah, is there any tracks in particular that you keep your eyes on? You pay a lot more attention to.
Well, I watch races all over the world, but the two main ones, Canada, of course, England, and America. We got a few jockeys in America: Rocco Jalon, Latsman, Kimar Trauma, Calicarda. I follow those guys that go on Equibase, follow the rides that coming up that they have. That we used to make. I could post that I could say Rocco going to Keeneland tomorrow because I check those entries almost every day, not almost. Yeah, for the time I go on my computer, it's more the sport than horse racing.
I wanted to ask you this also. Like, where did you draw your inspiration and your energy to keep up with all this horse racing talk and information? You have sources all over the place. How does this work?
Funny. I always like to read stuff. Those two sports I'm interested in, and I like the game. I gain my knowledge by reading a lot of stuff. So I feel empty if I don't read about those two sports because I don't feel good if you don't know what's going on.
You got to dig deeper.
Yeah, yeah. They don't pass it on about those two sports. It's a religion. It's a religion to me.
Now, now
Yeah.
I gotta ask you this also because most of the guys who are around the track that I've met, and they either wanted to be a jockey or a trainer or something. Were those any of your aspirations when you were younger? Did you ever want to be a jockey or a trainer or anything?
Uh, when I was young, my friends, we racing. We give ourselves our horse name, and our dream yes was to be a jockey. But then after when about six, I saw I was getting too big. That was like a childhood thing. After I get older, forget about that. But mostly, where I live in British Hill, uh, was Baptist family producing most jockeys. British Hill producing most champion jockeys. Uh, so everyone around here, if they're not a jockey or a trainer or horse runners, we produce the most horse people in Barbados. In British Hill, where I live. This is where Chris Griffith comes from, and Ricky Walker and Rico Walker. Anderson Trotman, Jalon. All those guys come from British Hill.
I mean, there's no doubt about it because probably I would assume that the closer to the track, you're gonna have more people, being a little bit closer, have a little bit more opportunity to get around, make themselves available, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how it works, but I can only imagine that that's part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That something. Although Wonders cricket goes just down the road, we don't nobody here around here don't just in cricket. It's merely horse racing is a little thing. Yeah. So that's why we made the comparison. The Wonders got Wonders not close, but no one something with the Garrison. Yeah. We were just the most. There's no village in there's no village in Barbados that has more jockeys than produce more jockeys than Brunel and the most champion records. All of them from Brunel.
So right now, Britain's Hill got the title, and they can be
Yeah,
proud of that.
yeah. We I wrote an article about that already. I'm a champion as well. We produced 7 champion jockeys and Hatsgat trailing on 4. I don't know if they're gonna catch it. Sonny Holder, Stephen Holden, son, he was for Hatsgat. Patrick, he won the championship. Terry Husbands, he was champion for Irby. Patrick Neville, and the Mario Bueno, Patrick Neville. Those are the 4 champions. And of course, they might itch a little close for Michael next year. But soon I might see a little boy around here walking around with a stick. That's how it starts. Yeah, that was Geelong started. Yeah.
Ken, let me gotta tell you, Ken. So I mean, just for the humor of this, there was a pandemic, and you never know. Hearts Gap might, in the next 10 years might produce some future jockeys because there've been a lot of babies born during the pandemic. So you never know, right?
Let me put that. But the thing about that, as I said before, well, most of the Virgin Farmers got was from Patrick's family, but the thing is that Brains is bigger than Hearts got, so we could produce more. But we can see what happens. We can see what happens. But
Absolutely.
it's a good camaraderie between the two villages. And after Brunel and Hearts got the next place that produce a lot of jockeys is Carlin Village, that's where Venice Bishop is from. Uh, Venice and the Common brothers. Cosville Grant was from down there. Um, Jamar Mon, the late Jamar Mon died. And a couple more that I'm not coming to my mind. But Carlin Village produced a good set of words as well.
But Ken, this is one of the reasons why I rely on people like you because you guys are more knowledgeable about the industry about horse racing than I am. I just do research and find out these things, but I'm not. I don't have all the knowledge on horse racing. There's a lot of intelligent horse people out there. That's why we do stuff like this, just to promote guys like you to let people know the tremendous work that you're doing. I'm truly impressed. And a lot of guys over here that I speak with are always bigging you up. They're always saying, Kent doing some tremendous work in Barbados, just to keep the names in the public's eyes, right? so that people can always see these names and see these guys and what they're doing. Who's the leading trainer down in Barbados now? When does the season finish?
Uh, right now, Andrew Nunes. It's close between him and Kenny John. I think Andrew Nunes has a couple of thousand on Kenny. I think the season is gonna go down to about September. Start back in November. I'm not 100% sure, but I know it'll break around that time to do some repairs to the track. But I'm really impressed with Kenny. Sadly, his dad died and left the Sable to him, and it was kind of difficult, at first. But getting some nice horses and stuff, and things changing around, and I'm happy because his dad and my dad were close friends. Actually, the second horse my dad had, his dad used to train. Philly Cause Pet Choice. So I'm very glad I knew Kenny from things a baby. I'm very glad Kenny John is going well.
What about the jockey? Who's the leading jockey down there right now?
Last time I checked, he's with and Hughes were level on 13 wins.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with Tashawn Hazelwood. Really taking his writing serious and that's all I know. The young man would get far.
Right. Always good to see when the guys are working their tails off and doing some good things,
Yeah. So this Saturday is Midsummer Classic. That's the second leg of the Barbados Triple Crown. So that's a race day everyone is going to be looking forward to.
So this Saturday, which leg of the Triple Crown?
This is the second leg. Midsummer
the second
Classic.
Leg of the Barbados Triple Crown. Who won the first one? Was it the
Hurricane? Miss Gail Smith. They ran 1, 2, 3 in the race. So everyone is going to be gunning to take him down. But he's a nice horse. He's going to be very interesting race. They're going 9 rounds this time. This one going 7. Robert's horse after she's a nice horse as well. Fortunately, she doesn't like the soft ground. She's virtually unstoppable on hard ground. So it's going to be an interesting race. It all comes down to how the ground turns up. Not saying that the race, those are the two main horses, but not saying that someone else can win. But that's what they have upsets in the racing. But those are the two main, they're going to carry the most money outside it.
So those two probably should go off as the favorites. But is there any other opportunities for the handicappers out there who would like to, tune in and pay a little bit more attention to racing in Barbados?
Means opportunity, you're talking about other races or on the card?
No, on the same card.
Yeah, on the, there's another nice race there. A sprint race there with it. So David sees 2 horses, Brenda Pass and Brilliant News. That is going to be. And then Robert has Real Ponty in there and another horse called Maringo. That's the next interesting race on the card as well. This jockey championship is close because I can remember last time someone draw level with Rashad. He's been 7 in front, but I got to see he's giving a little. The public like to see that. Two rivals. It was Charlie and Venice, Patrick and John. Come down and down. So
yeah. Yeah. Now I gotta ask you because you're the man with all the information when it comes to horse racing. You do a lot of research, and we talked about the apprentices and we talked about the jockeys and leading right in Barbados. Like, do you think that what makes those guys stand out more than the other guys? Just good bounce or just good form?
No, hard work. Not only everybody thinks I'm gonna say jockey, but say hard work, but you think me come work every morning and I got with horses. It go more than that. Hard work. You got to study the farm. Just ain't no walk over telling you. You just can't go in the race and just for going in the race. You gotta study. After race going 12 horses, you gotta study 11 horses in the race and the 12 jockeys. All they right. Number I got some friends that are jockeys. They tell me they don't study horses, they study jockey as well. Horse got weakness, the jockey has a weakness as well. So you got to go over the game plan.
So they definitely do a lot of work. A lot of work they put in just to to make it happen.
Yeah, Patrick. Patrick watching races, running the tape and watching over and over. And the thing with watching races, a lot of jockeys like watch races they win. You don't learn nothing with that. You gotta watch race you lost and see we making mistakes like any other sport.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so um, yeah, that's
Well, yeah. Speaking of that, I wanted to ask you this. In your opinion, who's the greatest jockey to come out of Barbados, statistically wise? I don't.
well,
Uh,
well, I'm not scared of it. I know it might get some licks. The older red fans tell me what say Charlie, but I've never seen Charlie Worden. And I think the red fans are a little hard because all the great guys that saw Sonny Oderwright was say otherwise. Well, I saw Venison last year, but I have to get a Patrick because he did it nationally. Patrick the best jockey locally for me. But that doesn't mean that we don't have other local talent. I mean, Michael Jordan, for example, Michael Jordan was the greatest that played in the NBA. They still had shot Abdul Jabbar, the doctor. Same thing with horse racing. You got Walker, Rico Walker, excellent jockey. Christopher Husbands. You got Michael Slater Jones. It got on and on before you had Chris Griffith no retire. So although Patrick is the best, he still have a lot of talent. So this guy just need a break. Uh, yeah. So
he's definitely is going to go down as one of the greatest for sure, and definitely he's well known, and definitely his name. I mean, all types of people know Patrick Husband, so there's no question about his greatness.
yeah, Patrick's record is hard broken. 7 awards, win the Triple Crown, only jockey to go over $10 million in the season. That can be pretty hard. And Patrick's the only Beijing relative that wanted to top tracks. A lot of our guys run on the rest, but he's only one that one at Woodbourne, which is the premier track in Canada. Not to say that somebody else going to do it. It ain't be easy, but I would, you never know.
I want to
I
ask
would,
you. I want to ask you your thoughts and your feelings around my man Jet Li winning the Greatest States race just the other day here at Woodbine. Uh,
yeah, I was glad to see that, and actually that is his first state race they won, and he won it a great state race. I was very happy to see that. Jet Li is what you call an honorary jockey. Um, I don't know because he stopped riding, because he stopped for a number of years, but I was very glad that he won that race. And I've 10 Gazing jockeys in the race, and I want one of them win. That I would like to see the day that would Gazing jockeys clean sweep the over with bank card. It's highly unlikely to happen, but I think at the time before Beijing won the card already. But if we could clean sweep out yet, I would like to see the it really unlikely to happen, but anything possible. But we have so many jockeys up there. All them riding good.
well, that'd be interesting. Maybe Woodbine can put on a race where there's a race with one race full of Barbadian jockeys and
No,
see
that
all
would
that
kill it.
public.
No, that would kill it. It would really not fun in that because they want to see competition. And I might highlight, the thing I like to see, I like to see our building jockey against the big riders because there's a thing here. A lot of guys always think because the guy from Puerto Rico or something, he must be better than a Belgian rider. No, we only see Gerardo Ortiz and those guys, but there are the guys too.
I can tell you one thing, Ken. I know what you're saying, but if that was to happen, if all Barbadian jockeys in one race, do you know the amount of rivalry and conversation that would go around that race?
That's
Right?
true.
Rights. Do you know
Uh,
how much that would generate? That would generate so much interest. I can't see it
uh,
happening, but I know that it would.
I think the most of us are in the top 4 15 is about 5. But that's a very interesting thing you brought up. Because don't forget we got Beijing trainers out there as well. Our owners
Yeah. Yeah.
that that go to our Beijing riders first.
Yes.
I'd be interested if that happen. That happens. Yeah,
But,
that's
the sport doesn't work that way, but I mean, it would be interesting. It's just it's just a fantasy thing, but it doesn't work that way. But it would be interesting if Woodbine was to ever get creative and put that on their radar. It could happen.
I don't think we're going to do it, but if our riders could book uh, uh, all the races in one race, but women's not going to do that because
But it comes down to the owners, right? The
all
owners
the owners.
play a big
Oh,
role in this.
yeah, that's true. But I would like, I would like to see next business jockey win a championship, a jockey champion in America too. I know it's gonna be hard. That's gonna be hard as well. But we don't have much jockeys out there, and American racing, there's no secret. American racing is much harder than Canada. They work the jockey calling moving those tracks very hard. But World Walker is phenomenal, you know. No, I don't really know. Look, you know, everybody say, "Well, Ramadan was a small track," but some of these small tracks in the states are really tough. And they joke about that. This is I keep hearing this all the time. Oh, Kenya has a small track. A lot of the jockeys at the bigger tracks start at the small tracks first. So when people see these things, it got me puzzled. As I said before, Jerry B started selling Park. Edgar Porter started at Laurel. So many people come with these things about, oh, you're not a small track. Almost all the jockeys in the states start small tracks first, and then start at San Luis or any of the bigger tracks.
Well, I mean, I think that guys got to go where the opportunity is, and you know, the opportunity is only open for the top five, and you know, guys, you know, get scared of that. You know, you don't want to go somewhere where you can't gallop or you can't get the mounts. I can only imagine what that feels like. You know, to put so much effort and just you know you just don't get up there, right? So I don't know. Maybe one of the jockeys can explain that a little bit more to me, but I don't know.
The thing, you know, we talk about hard work and jockeys and all, Patrick work very hard in his career. There every morning. Somewhere there's been a big race, you don't see them next day, you know, they're still celebrating. Walko, you know, we got the interview with Walko. He really said you got to be at the track at 4 o'clock, 4:30. You know,
Yeah.
you got to put in hard work. In any sport, you know, I know this because you hard work put in too much sport. A lot of people like to lag back and think it's gonna fall in a lot. You got to put in hard work. Walko didn't get ready was by sitting down, right? But how he raised and stuff, you know, you got to be doing hard work.
Yeah,
Rico
well,
Walker, I would like to see him get a break as well. He's another talented worker. We got talent all around.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. And those guys are putting the effort from for many years, and they're doing really well. Rico Walker, I mean, those guys are dominate where they are, right? Uh, Unfortunately, like we mentioned, we always do the comparison to bigger tracks, bigger purses, but um, you know, sometimes the opportunity. I just spoke with Stephen Gaskin, and he's telling me that bigger is not necessarily better. You know, sometimes you just need to know where is best for you. So it could be the same for those guys as well.
Yeah, that's true because well, let me call so a trainer. Have you Steve, you might be getting a lot of clients that um, don't have his track. If you go to Woodbine, which is he gonna get clients? You know, you don't want to go in and suffer. So you're right. That's I understand what he's saying.
Definitely, definitely.
And I'm glad to see him get where he was as well. We never produced a champion trainer in Canada, but I think you know Gasky puts a lot of hard work. He started the jockey first. He's doing pretty well down there too. Even if
Yes, yes. Well, I just want to remind people again that I'm talking with Kent Lane from Barbados, who is right now in Barbados, and he's a writer for the Barbados Today, right? Right? Am I saying that right?
yeah,
Barbados Today
yeah,
newspaper
but yeah, online for sure.
online, and he's also he does some intense research on horse racing. He's always posting in his Facebook group called Garrison Savannah, right?
Yeah,
And
I got you.
this group is Garrison, and this group consists of over 5,000 people. Ken is also involved in many other things. He's a top draft player around the world. Um, Internationally, what are you ranked, Ken? Ken?
And actually, I rated 46. Um, I could go on ACF American Federation website. The ratings there. If you want to look at it. 46 over. I think about 300. Over 300 and some body cares. Uh, you know, everyone is asking me. I can't. You got to beat Suki. You know, that's something that that we kind of make me laugh. Everyone think I'm a candidate master now. I like to get a grandmaster level. Once I get there, I feel comfortable. I mean, everybody can score the most runs like Brian Lar, but that doesn't mean that they weren't at the top batsmen. Like the same comparison made with Michael Jordan. Yeah, but all my friends all keep saying, "Oh, I want to see one of these days." But that's either I'd already, I would like to do it, but I'd already study it. That's how I do.
Well, yeah,
I got other things on my mind that that you want to achieve. It just played in the Scottish Open last year. It was set up in groups. They won my group. I think it did very well in my draft career. I played against four guys that Suki played in. There were title matches and drew against all of them. Jim Morrison, he played Suki for his world title. He played Derek Robert for his world title. He played him in 2 games in World Qualifying Wales, and he found a hard time to defeat me. And he shaped my hands. I can't. At first, he told when the game was finished. By the way, he looks like Jerry Bailey. I know your heart's racing, guy. He said, "I can't. I know you. Suki taught you, but you put in a lot of hard work. You played very well." We tell him when time was 11, I know he used to go around places like go in shops and play with other guys, go down Accra Beach, play the guys down there, So that way that's one of my secrets I get so hard, You gotta, that's back to what you're saying, you gotta put in hard work.
And you told me a story, you used to go into the shops. You don't drink, but you used to go to the shops just to play those guys that play draft.
Yeah. At first, I was 11. I found it really hard. Once the guy beat me over 16 love. 2 years after that, he couldn't draw a game with me. So that's the thing. You got to put in the hard work. It doesn't. That's back to what we were saying. What I was saying. It doesn't come like that. You don't get to the top like that. But he never. After the beatings I got, he tell me don't get discouraged, and I keep working harder and working harder, and then I get a draw with him. Then after I beat him 6 love, easy. So I drew a game with Suki once, but he defeated me 1 love. And that's the start. Last year, Sergio Scarpetta, who defeated Suki, he defeated me 1 love as well. After I drew the first game, and I think that's very good. I could draw with ex-world champion and a world champion. I had all 2 games drawn, but slight mistake. And I think that was in the 60th move. I made my error. Yeah. But I preparing for this year. This year is going to be different.
Well, Ken, I want to thank you for doing this with me. But before you go, I want you to, is there anywhere people can reach you, how people can reach you to read your articles for the newspaper?
I mainly post them on my chat room, the Gardens of Honor, on races. I post everything there on anything about racing. I post it. I mainly post it on my chat room on Saturday mornings.
So if people who are watching this are not in your chat room and want to check it out, reach you.
Oh, sorry. When you go on Barbados Today and you type in my name, all of my articles come up.
So it's Barbados Today online.
BarbadosToday.bb. It's online newspaper, .bb.
Okay, BarbadosToday.bb. I'll make sure I try to put it up there too when we post this, so that people can definitely check out your articles and tune into what you're doing. Ken, is there anything else you want to add? Maybe we can do this again. We can talk about some more about maybe after the Triple Crown. Maybe you might have a Triple Crown winner in Barbados.
Yeah, that'll be interesting because Barbados never had 2 back-to-back years of Triple Crown winners. Because we had a Triple Crown winner last year, People's Champ. So that would create history. We never had. Like the rest of the world, you had a bit of oil before, but to see another Triple Crown winner, but if Hurricane was winning Triple Crown, it would be the first time we had 2 years back-to-back of Triple Crown winners. But we'll see. People say the first leg is the hardest leg. The first leg is not the hardest leg because anybody could win, but then you have to win the second leg to win the Triple Crown. This will make it interesting. So they will call crunch time.
Yeah, definitely.
If he doesn't win, he can't win the Triple Crown. And you only get $100,000 bonus here. Well, in America, you get $1 million bonus, but you're not being Barbados, so a lot of hearts can pump in Saturday. And after the race, the part that made me laugh, you see a lot of smiling faces, and then the sad story the sad faces tell the story who the person was backing. They don't have to say who they were backing because when it's sad, they know they lose. Yeah. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So Saturday is going to be very interesting.
What time on Saturday does the races go?
I think the first race at 1:30.
1:30 Eastern time, and the races can be seen on YouTube, I believe. Right?
Yeah, YouTube and internet. You type in Barbados Trail Club. They have a live feed there. Yeah. But, very glad to see Trail Club do that, and they have online betting as well.
Well, that's good for everyone involved in the sport.
Yeah, so that's I like to see positive around racing. I don't really check the negative things. I like to see the positive, but no, we have no racing, online betting. So those things, motivation, attract is not good. Nothing happen overnight, but other things too that happen around racing that I'm happy to see.
That's right. Well, Kent, again, thanks for doing this. Let's do this again sometime soon. I know there's lots of information out there. People can be able to maybe join your group and get all that horse racing information from you about not only about Barbados but around the world. Thanks.